Hello and welcome. We just got finished reading Old Rinkrank, which is... It's kind of funny because the story sounds like it's going to be one thing, and then it turns into another thing entirely. So you have a king who creates a glass mountain, and the glass mountain is placed there so that knights and anyone who wants his daughter can climb up it, and if they don't fall, well, then they can have his daughter to marry. And a brave knight comes in, and him and his daughter, the king's daughter, actually already love each other. And so the king's daughter is like, well, I will go up the mountain with you, and if either of us should fall, we can catch each other and lift each other back up. And so they agree to this. And why make the guy go through it if both the daughter and the knight like each other? Who knows? It's a fairy tale. It's old politics, you know? Who cares about old politics? So they climb up the mountain, and suddenly she falls down, and a crack is opened up inside of the mountain, and she falls into that crack, and then the mountain closes on top of it. And so all seems lost. There she is, and there she is not anymore. And then the king and then the knight both try to get into the mountain and find her, but they are unable to dig deep enough into the mountain. And so they just fear that she's lost forever, but they don't let out on hope. And so to remedy, well, there's no remedy to the situation yet. So the princess falls down, and she falls into the place, and she finds an old man sitting at the bottom there. And he refers to himself as Old Rinkrank, which is an interesting name. I wonder if he appears in any other stories. Probably not, since he's dead. But he has a what's his face? He has like a Rumpelstiltskin vibe. I don't know how to describe it. It's just he's there. He causes a problem. He gives himself a specific name. He gives her a specific name. So she gets caught. She falls down. And he takes her in, and he's like, I'm going to go get everything for us. I'm going to go mining. I'll do all this stuff, but you have to stay locked in here and do all of the housework. Which, to be fair, not necessarily the worst ending, but when you're coming from being a princess who was about to marry a beautiful and dashing knight to now living with this weird, creepy dude who lives inside of a glass mountain that your father built to try and test the knights to see if they were worthy of you, you can see how that'd be quite a downgrade. So she goes down here, and she stays down there, and she stays trapped because he uses a ladder to get out of the mountain. But she doesn't know where the ladder is because he always pulls it up. So what she does is, after years of having to go through this, she opens a small window that he's able to climb through and prepares a trap to capture him in. And she closes the door and she locks it. And it says that she actually is there for many years. She has grown quite old, which I don't know how old quite old is. I know for us it'd be like 60. For them it might be like 30, 40. I don't know. She sets a trap. Old Rinkrank leaves. And Mother Mansrot is what he calls her. He's like, it doesn't matter what your name is. Your name is Mother Mansrot now, which is kind of a gross name. Mansrot probably doesn't mean the same thing that it does mean in German whenever the name was given to her. Regardless, Mansrot. Mansrot, the princess, sets a trap, locks the door, won't let Old Rinkrank in. And for some reason, whenever he can't get back in, he starts singing about how she needs to wash his dishes. And she's like, I already washed the dishes. And he's like, wash my dishes. And she's like, I've already made the bed already. He's like, wash my dishes. And then she's like, no, I'm not going to let you in. And then he goes around and he sees the open door, or the open window, tries to climb in. She lays the trap down, blam, captures his humongous beard inside of it, and then says, you're going to tell me where the ladder is so I can get out of here. And he can't get out because she's got the trap set just perfectly to where it just hurts his beard so much. So he finally relents. She climbs out. She goes to her dad. She goes to the knight who's still there. Hallelujah. And then they dig up the mountain. They find Old Rinkrank. They killed Old Rinkrank. And then the loyal knight and the princess get married. And it's just happily ever after. And they get all of the gold and silver that old Rinkrank dug up throughout the ages. So it all just ends up working out. And isn't that so wonderful? But the thing about this story that feels so odd is that Rinkrank has no magical abilities, where he feels like he should have magical abilities. There's no real moral to the story all that much. It's just there was a mountain of glass built, and what you have is you just have a major misfortune occurs where the king tries to create something to allow people to prove themselves so that he can find a good husband for his daughter because he loves his daughter, and he loses his daughter, and the knight just stays around and I guess mourns with her father that they've both lost the woman that they love. And then she has to live out a very, I guess, pious life is the best way of putting it, to an old bad person stuck at the bottom of a glass mountain. Like, how big is this mountain? How'd they get that much glass? Who knows? It's a fairy tale. But the fact that they didn't just immediately shatter all the glass, maybe they thought if they shattered the glass, it would like fall down and potentially crush her. That's a reasonable assumption. And so just the glass mountain and the trial part feels like one story of a knight overcoming a trial. And then the story of her getting lost and having to escape old Rinkrank feels like an entirely separate story with a different moral to catch at the end, but instead they're kind of like slammed together. It has the same vibe as like Simile Mountain. And so it's like Simile Mountain in that regard, where it has so much DNA of other stories, but each piece of its DNA doesn't feel quite that cohesive. I guess Simile Mountain is actually pretty cohesive overall. At least I think so. I enjoyed Simile Mountain a lot. So anyways, Rinkrank just sings to himself for some reason. She traps him, gets out, all that good jazz. The rest of it basically plays as you'd expect, where the woman, through some sort of guile, and having done her chores and duties, makes Rinkrank think that everything's fine, so he doesn't suspect that there's a problem, or that she might try and escape. And then she outwits him, and they escape, and then the king is able, for whatever reason, to now dig up the entire mountain and kill old Rinkrank for what he's done to their family. So, yeah, that's a story in a nutshell. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that we will see you next week. Or tomorrow, or just right now. You can check out one of these other videos. I forgot about that. Yeah, check out one of these other videos. Thanks.